Ike took to Twitter. That's what you told me, TJ.
Every year is the year of Killinallday. This one especially. And taking a look at the lineups, Dan, right before we went...
That is actually the case. In every single matchup spread across the board, Bloodyface is 75% favored, upwards to 85% favored against Odd Warrior. So, this entire series is predicated completely on whether or not Bloodyface can sweep this Odd Warrior. Because the other decks from Killin are perfectly fine. You know, Clone Priest might get a win, Mid-Range Hunter is very powerful. I mean, Odd Rogue had to get banned because it's so good against all these combo-oriented decks. So this is quite possibly one of the most defining games. I mean, it's all about can Killinallday sneak in a victory with this very slow Odd Warrior.
Which is very unlikely. It is the worst matchup in all of Killinallday's matchups out of the three with Odd Warrior. And also, I'm pretty sure it's 80% Priest favored, and much of that 20% is user error on the Priest side, since these are aggregated statistics.
Pretty sure I contribute 17% and 20% win rate for Odd Warrior.
I would go so far as to say this is 95% Priest favored.
Okay. So you're saying 1 out of every 20 games you play,
you'll win.
Okay.
It is very unlikely.
That generous.
Yes, it is brutal because it doesn't matter your life total. If the Priest player is competent, they have time. It is almost impossible to deal enough damage to pressure the Priest, and even then, you usually have to get through Amara, which is another 40 health, which is even more impossible, and no amount of life gain will stop you, unless, like I said, user error on the Priest side, they miscalculate, they don't do their combo correctly, which Bloodyface is 4-0. I'm 100% sure he's put in a ton of games of practice for this deck. It's brutal. It is brutal. Yeah,
there are some very weird corner case scenarios where you can try and get them to stop. So I'm looking at least the Trailblazer pack as a potential way to mess with it. But if you get, say, Swamp King Dread, guess what? They can't play it.
Yes.
But that's like... when we're talking about like 1% outs, that's kind of what you need to stretch for in order to get an opportunity to win this matchup. You can burn one of their cards if they overdraw, you know, like if they end up having the Divine Spirit burn, then they have a little bit more of a trickier time getting through it. Or of course, if you snipe their Snowtusk Boar. But you know, there's not a lot that you can do.
There's no Lich King for Death Grip because it's an odd deck. There's no reasonable way to get a Lich King outside of Stonehill Defender. And even then, Stonehill Defender is a small chance for Lich King because it waits class cards, and Warrior has a lot of class taunts, and even then, it's a small chance for you to, well, not a small chance, but 20%, I think, is there 5 Death Knight cards? Yeah. To get the Death Grip from that, and even then, it relies on your opponent not already having Snowtusk Boar, which Bloodyface does, or having played a Vivid Nightmare earlier, and you steal a Radiant Elemental, so they don't have enough gas, that spell reduction to play it later. It's, I don't know, we're trying to go through the fringe case scenarios where that happens.
I mean, look how much Bloodyface prioritizes making sure that no threat can stick. Well, I mean, Killinallday might just play Dr. Boom Mad Genius to generate some kind of threat.
Yeah, the tank up I don't think is that relevant. There's a couple breakpoints that make it so, but those breakpoints are 129 armor and 257 armor.
Yeah.
And even then,
armor.
Yes, but even those don't guarantee that you win because they can still do that as long as they're fast enough and have the hand space for it.
Yeah. So basically, pull out any memory card from your phone or your camera or your tablet and add 1 to it. That's every breakpoint. And I'm not even exaggerating at that point when you're talking about, you know, 512 gigabytes. That's how much life space that you need to make sure that your opponent messes up. Now, of course, there are opportunities for Bloodyface to screw it up too, like very easily. We talk about overdraw. We talk about not managing your hand resources correctly when you're trying to go for the combo. There's also sequencing errors. I mean, the more taunts that Killinallday can get in the way too makes it so that Bloodyface has less time to execute it. And so in some ways, another option off of Stonehill Defender is just another Stonehill Defender. Another silence here off the Owl is fairly important, just to keep denying stuff. But, I mean, Bloodyface already has Test Subject, Stone Toast Boar, and a Radiant Elemental with a Vivid Nightmare. So has 4 out of the 7 pieces needed. We need another Radiant Elemental, a Divine Spirit, and then is that it actually? No, Topsy-Turvy.
Topsy-Turvy.
So we need 1 more piece for that.
Yeah, 2 Topsy-Turvies in the deck for Bloodyface. Important to have that redundancy, at least for spells. 1 Stone Toast Board is needed because the redundancy is not as crucial because as long as you have any minion on board, you can do most OTKs.
Kill him with the cube on the Ironbeak Owl. I guess that doesn't necessarily maximize the pressure on board, but I guess keeping the Stonehill Defender is nice because if Bloodyface chooses to Psychic Scream things back, he can get another taunt minion potentially back. Yeah, but this quest pretty much going to be done here because Bloodyface has 2 test subjects that he can throw into the mix, therefore should be okay to just lose 1.
Yeah.
I like it.
Get me out of here!
I guess you could throw in the Thanos as well. I don't think you're afraid of dying at 24 even though you're staring at 7.
Maybe if you need the extra life steal from second Spirit Lash.
Well, here's an interesting
That's
thing.
unlikely.
Yeah, that's true. I wonder if there's stuff that Killen can pick up to fill Bloodyface's board so he can't do things, but I don't think that's the case, really.
No. Again, Lisa Trailblazer into pack into Cornered Sentry.
Corner Sentry, Swamp King Dread, things like that to really mess with it. Corner Sentry, you just attack with all your 1/1.
Yeah.
But if you clear your own board, you can do that. Bloodyface has the ability to scream all of this junk back into Killen's deck.
Mind if I roll need?
All right.
Whoa.
That's a really important draw for Killen. Now he just has to draw the 1 in 22 of the pack.
So you're telling me there's a chance.
Yeah.
And then outside the pack, he also has to get an important minion in order to get it. He has to have Swamp King Dread, and then Bloodyface has to not be able to remove Swamp King Dread.
Yeah.
Which he could just save Amara for Swamp King Dread, and then another minion. But he's not going to do that.
I mean, there might be more things that I'm not thinking about, too.
I don't think so.
He said might.
I'm so glad.
Yeah, Killen might want to discover some kind of mech through a delivery drone and figure out what's the best course of action there. Bloodyface is missing only a couple more pieces.
Divine Spirit Topsy-Turvy.
I don't even know if there's any more minions for Bloodyface to draw in his deck anymore. If he plays Witchwood Piper. Very good use of Mass Hysteria as well, just to get that card draw going. Doesn't matter how the trades go down as long as you draw cards. Okay, the Turvy. So now Bloodyface pretty much only needs Divine Spirit, and that should be good to go.
Well,
if Killen able to find a way to fill the hand, though.
I don't think there's a way. Picks up pack and then. Mukla in the new Mukla? Was he in Angoro?
New Mukla? You mean like the Ulgas Mukla?
Oh, it had to be the Ulgas Mukla because new Mukla puts bananas in your hand.
Yeah. It has to be a classic pack.
Millhouse. No way to get Millhouse. I don't know.
Okay. Deadringer. Probably toss his Doomsayer. Free up hand space.
Yep.
Topsy-Turvy can always be thrown in a little bit later into the mix as well.
Yep.
No, Shield Slam is not it. So Delivery Drone can pick up something. I mean, these are solid minions, but there's just nothing special and particularly helpful in this matchup.
Weaponized Pinata would be...
Ooh.
Could get Swamp King Dread as well.
Or Lich King.
Or Millhouse.
Or Millhouse.
Or Mukla.
Mukla would be really useful to fill up the hand.
Yeah.
Killen's a sitting duck.
All right. Bloodyface warming up his hands.
All right,
because he knows it's time to go.
He should pretty much have it. I think he's Shadow Vision's just before the second Radiant.
Yeah.
Just in case.
And Killen's not going to concede because there's always the chance
I don't know, man.
of user error. But Bloodyface rubbed his hands together. And when you rub your hands together, that gives you a 100% chance to complete the combo perfectly.
Part of what makes Bloodyface a pretty scary opponent is that he's pretty quiet, unassuming, but he's a very strong technical player. And then I noticed he's even back in 2015 when he was first making his America's Championship top 8 performance. I think he lost in top 8 and we took top 4 to go to the championship.
He lost in top 12 and we took
top 12.
And we took top 8.
Okay, you're right.
Yeah.
No, we took top 6 because 2 spots went to Latin America.
No, this was back when we took 8, I'm pretty sure.
Are you sure?
No, I'm not. Yeah, because it was one.
I remember because Firebet was 1 spot off and I think Trump went to the America's Championship instead.
I think that was the year before, but I don't know.
No matter what, I remember seeing Bloodyface for the first time, 3-4 years ago now, and I just remember being very impressed with this technical play, even though I didn't know anything about him. And I think, he doesn't really mess up stuff like this.
Get me out of here!
And the way he's rubbing his hand seems fairly confident. I mean, all you have to do is flip the board and you hit twice, 3 times. It's perfectly fine as long as you get to 51.
Yeah. Killen was not quite able to get to that 129 health threshold. He was close.
Enough. He just made 2 more boards.
Well, okay. He wasn't quite able to get to that 257 health breakpoint.
Wouldn't matter. Just make 1 more
All right,
board.
he wasn't quite able to get to that.
All right, you got very similar last week, bringing his own weird concoction of 4 decks, and now Bloodyface is doing the same thing. Let's go to Druid versus the Odd Warrior. This is a Hakar Fatigue Druid that uses King Togwaggle to flip decks, and then utilizes Hakar the Soul Flare to guarantee Corrupted Blood big damage at the very end stages of the game. And the Fatigue, I mean, it's just a really big factor at one point because you end up just taking like exponentially increasing damage.
Yep, and this is a pretty equally bad matchup for the Odd Warrior because, again, they have to kill the Druid before they're able to get their pretty much guaranteed OTK combo off.
Yeah, so as mentioned, King Togwaggle, for people unfamiliar with it, allows you to swap your decks with your opponent. But you have the option to make sure that you have either a copy of it or burn it for your opponents as well. And then Hakar shuffles a Corrupted Blood, which deals damage, and then shuffles 2 copies of that Corrupted Blood into the deck. But you also get it for yourself as well. So sometimes it's been really funny where you see some players suicide. It's like, I'm just going to Hakar, and then they take a little bit too much damage over the course of the game. But I think Mr. Yagut has a really famous clip from that.
Yeah, but if you are able to get to the point where you can swap your empty deck to your opponent and play Hakar into their empty deck, then that's where the OTK comes in.
That's right. That's right. Precisely.
Because they'll just have Corrupted Bloods in their deck.
One thing that's cool about this deck is 2 things. One, the fact that Druid felt like it was going to be irrelevant after all of its nerfs, right? When Wild Growth and Nourish were gimped, it didn't feel like Druid had many good resources. This deck doesn't even play that. And the second thing is that I find this deck uses a lot of cards that Druid traditionally didn't really think about much. Like Biology Project was super hyped, but then it fell off. And then cards like Barkskin and Pounce and even Floop's Glorious Gloop.
Okay, that one is not really in the deck for its intended purpose. While it does have use with Wild Pyromancer, most of the time when you see it being played in Hakar or any type of Druid is just to draw an extra card with Gadgetzan Auctioneer. So
I know, but it's cool that it finds use there.
Yeah, and also it does have the added benefit of if you have Wild Pyromancer and a Gadgetzan Auctioneer and your opponent's playing an aggressive deck, you can play Floop's Glorious Gloop and be able to reset mana crystals every time you kill something, which is easier with Wild Pyromancer, and then you can keep that chain going and draw even more cards. So it oftentimes it can just be a single cycle with Gadgetzan Auctioneer, especially against slower decks. But it does have the added bonus of being able to do those crazy turns where you play way too much mana worth of stuff.
Yeah, precisely. I mean, this is kind of goes to show you the power of Auctioneer still being very relevant. Yes, you don't really see it these days, and the Rogue the Miracle Rogue decks that it used to have. Like, people these days play Odd Rogue to get that pressure. But, you know, Auctioneer is still one of the most powerful cards in the Classic set because of how much... Because it enables things like this. Just look at the difference in draw. Bloodyface is already at 10 cards remaining in his deck, and the mana crystals are inflated because of Biology Project.
Yeah.
Like, this is like turn 6 or something. Turn 5, turn 6, and Bloodyface is almost decked out.
Yep.
You can deck out next turn if you really wanted to.
Yep. And you can also see one of the things I wanted to point out was Killinallday queuing up the Warrior, knowing that it's his worst matchup, because he knows that if you can't take a win with the Warrior, then he won't be able to win the series at all.
Good guy killing.
Good guy killing.
Not going to waste the viewer's time.
Nope. Also his time. If he gets a chance to kind of rest, take a break, go eat, he's probably playing long rounds because he's playing pretty slow decks.
Yeah.
So it's a strategic move.
Yeah, I mean, his name just says it all. He needs to pace himself for the day.
Yeah, he's got a lot more killing to do.
It's not just this round. It's an all-day thing.
Just waiting for Killin to change his name to Killin All Year.
Yeah, but it has to be year over year. It can't just be 1 year.
Oh, man, I didn't even think about it. Also, we would have to change the acronym to Yoke.
Yoke. All right, I'm on board. It took a while to get to the Yoke train, but I'm finally on board.
Hashtag Yoke.
Biology Project just to cycle and draw just a little deeper. Bloodyface can clear everything here. It's just so, you just never really think about how much Druid has cheap spells, right? Relatively speaking, in terms to cycle with Gadget and Auctioneer, but it's more than half the deck. That's how scary this deck can be with Gadget and Auctioneer.
What can
This
kill him all
jungle
day?
hides many secrets.
The problem is Swamp King Dread doesn't save him for this. It actually just saves Bloodyface.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's any kind of way to manipulate some kind of landing, or sorry, like anti-Hakar technology. So like, you know, Hakar can come down, but you need to save an Innervate. So is there a way to like increase the cost of something so that way you can't play Hakar?
Ruby and Unraveler, but there's no way to get it.
Yeah, that's a nice
epic.
Frozen. Oh, it's an epic.
Yeah.
I thought it was a nice Frozen Throne card.
It is, but it's an epic.
Well, you can't.
Also,
I'm
it's
saying you
even.
can't. Yeah, I'm saying you can't get it from like a pack or something.
No, yeah.
I was thinking about the Elise pack.
Elise pack.
Because he shuffled two.
Man.
I mean, it would have to be Bloodyface being very careless and using his Innervates before he gets the Akar, because he has to save, you know, like the Naturalize or the Spellstone for the Hakar, so that way there's no transformation or silence effects.
You can like bank up Direhorn hatchlings and then maybe try and offset it by playing the Direhorn hatchlings right before the combo goes off. So if he has to fill up the hand and he also shuffles a, I don't know, there could be a weird scenario with hatchlings.
Sure.
Hey, speak to me.
I mean, Bloodyface not using his removal tools. I was thinking about at the very least dumping the Wrath to make for the hand space, but because he has 8 cards and only 2 remaining in his deck, even if Bloodyface draws both cards, there's nothing that he's going to burn.
Yeah.
Unless Killinallday can fill the hand.
Well, he can get Weaponized Pinata into
King
Mukla, or Weaponized Pinata into
Magic neutralized.
Lich King. No, Lich King and Death Grip.
It's too
Yeah,
slow.
that could work.
I mean, it's a viable option. Okay, this is actually a really scary thing going on here, which is the Zilliax isn't going away anytime soon.
Ooh, what about Weaponized Pinata into his own Togwaggle?
Yeah, but the hands won't be full at that point. Druid dump all their But, I mean, it's an interesting idea for sure.
I don't know. I'm just trying to think of something.
I mean, right now, Bloodyface has the situation under control. He's going to naturalize in the Togwaggle, the hand's full, so the King's Ransom doesn't even transfer over. Bloodyface has Killen's deck, Killen's on fatigue, and if the game was just like from this point onwards, Druid'd still be in a pretty good spot. But the Hakar adds one more element of it, which is Killen's time is very limited.
Yes, next turn.
Light the fuses!
Yeah.
He's able to hold on to Hakar, Innervate plus Naturalize. Bloodyface has -1 cards.
Ooh.
Our card tracker couldn't keep up with all the swapping that was going on.
It's 17 because of the
number values.
Yeah. The card comes down, and Killen has only 12 power on board. That would mean Bloodyface loses all his armor. Oh, the humanity! Yep, and then, of course, has the naturalize for the following turn and drawn big damage.
I'm out of cards.
You take the 3 damage, take the 2 fatigue, is it now? And next turn is when the pain really starts.
Yep.
But, like you said, he has the Dire Horde Hatchling. And I wonder if there's anything that he can get off of, say, the Omega Assembly, or if he starts investing into Dr. Boom now.
Weaponized Pinata into another Elise. Pack into Explore Ungoro.
Well, the pack is in Bloodyface's deck now.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Weaponized Pinata into
into Elise.
Into pack. Into Explore Ungoro.
Whoa, I like that.
We have to go deeper!
Or Hemet.
Or Hemet!
Yeah, Jungle Hunt.
What?
But then you just start accelerating your fatigue up, but at least you remove it.
But Bloodyface is working with word cards. Maybe he, with Dr. Boom, he pieces together enough pressure. I don't know, Dan.
Yeah, so that's what I'm talking about. The Ziliax here being buffed by the Beryllium Nullifier, and then does Killen have another Faces in his deck?
He has.
He has a cube.
2 Faces.
Oh no, but the cube doesn't really work the way we want it to. Plus, he lost any activator, anyways.
Well, he has Reckless Flurry.
All right, I'll naturalize to draw the 2 Corrupted Bloods, which is 6 damage, and then the 3 fatigue damage plus the other draws. So Killen's gonna lose pretty much the rest of his armor here.
Out of cards. That's it. I'm out of cards. I'm almost out of cards. That's it. I'm out of cards.
Actually takes the 4th fatigue damage as well. Is Killen dead? No, he's not. Like, I was trying to think if there's a guaranteed kill next turn for Bloody, but I think Killen is just gonna be barely alive. Because how many 4 bloods are shuffled in right now, right? Or is it 8?
I thought it was 8.
Is it 8? Okay, then he's dead.
Yeah, I think he's dead. All right. 24, he was at 23, but
You're right.
Yeah.
Just look at how strong the car is in these fatigue scenarios. Just had to naturalize twice and make them draw all of the bloods.
Yep. Oh, yeah, and then the fatigue as well. So, yeah, 29 damage that turn.
Dang, Car Druid on the map. And he said, you know what? I mean, I already have like the background going to software development and whatnot. I can always just go back, but right now, qualify for the World Championship. And, I mean, things are looking very good for him going into another season. And TJ, I don't know if you got the memo, but apparently what's old is new again. Everybody from the Summer Championship apparently is having another breakout playoffs performance.
That's right. And we saw Viper and Bunny Hopper, who have already qualified, make it through. I'm looking at if we have 2 players from every region that have already qualified to the World Championship, 6 out of the 16 players that go to winner can't get a spot.
That'd be pretty funny.
So that means there's a much higher chance for any other players, and specifically China, who doesn't have a spot.
Can you imagine if China still doesn't get a spot in that?
Oh, God.
That would be so sad.
They're guaranteed 1 based off of their points leader.
I mean, I want them to go do well. I want more regional diversity to amp up the rivalry. Wow, sick prismatic lens, by the way. Novice Engineer now costs only 2.
Ooh. There's so many times where I just rip prismatic lens and end up with a 25 cost of quality in my hand. Those are sad.
Those are very sad, but at the same time, yeah, Shirval is only 2.
Yes. Until you bounce it back, then it resets its cost.
Yeah.
Which you have to bounce it back if you play it there.
Well, yeah.
It's never a good thing, Dan. I'm upset.
Unless you can guarantee that Holy Wrath and Shrivala would be the next card interaction in your language hacker. But yeah. So what does Killen need to do to win this matchup, TJ? Because this is his last chance.
This jungle.
What does he have to get off the lease pack to figure this one?
Well, there is a failure rate built into this version of the Paladin. The reason being is because it doesn't play the ancient Brewmasters. So Bloodyface has to not play. Oh, he doesn't play
He
any.
doesn't have Call to Arms.
It doesn't have Call to Arms.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
It makes sense because if you play Call to Arms and you play Youthful Brewmaster, you just give up your win condition.
You give up your win condition versus decks that gain armor.
Yeah.
Against most or decks that have that can float at 30 and have weapon removal, then you can't swing with Uther weapon and deal the 25 damage Holy Wrath. But it also has the built-in failure rate of sometimes you can just never get the horseman you need to bounce back.
It's true.
You can roll the same horseman 158 times in a row.
513 times, TJ.
Or 1,027 times in a row. It's very unlikely,
Yeah.
but it's there. This is the...
I like that, like, just by multiplying by 2 every time, we just can't do math beyond 3 digits. We've just exposed.
Yeah.
They designed Hearthstone for people like me and TJ.
They can only count to 30.
But for all those people in chat with, Galaxy Brain 200 IQ, go ahead and challenge yourselves. Who knows? Maybe even play 3 Hearthstone boards at once.
Yeah. Also DM me. I'm looking for casters.
All right, well, Bloodyface, he already has Uther of the Ebon Blade in hand, so this already looks pretty good, because that is one of the scariest things is you have Uther towards the bottom part of your deck, and your opponent gets all this time to build up pressure. And Killen did a really good job. I mean, he already has the Elise and the Cube. Now he can face us that. Now he can put on more reasonable pressure, and an Equality Clear ends up putting out more pressure.
Yeah.
And this is the kind of stuff that you need to be doing if you are the Odd Warrior. That is why, I saw it first with Hot Tool, putting all these like greedy, combo-oriented stuff with Faceless and Cube, and now it seems to be uniform across the board.
No, I saw it first with Hot Tool.
Okay, well, TJ saw it first, and I saw it second. We can agree that no other caster saw it, though, afterwards. Right?
No, they didn't.
Yeah.
It was just me and you. But this is the best matchup in this for Odd Warrior in Killen's lineup. It has a whopping 75% chance to lose. Haha, baited you there.
Yeah, so only 1 in 4 times you get the win, and you can see why, because Killen has reasonable pressure. I mean, now these cubes, you don't want to pop them, because then 4 5/5s will come out, and it's almost like they cubed the Devil Source in Hunter.
Yeah. You can't go over it.
That being said, I mean, Bloodyface already has Uther the Ebon Blade. He's got 2 bouncers. No, just 1. Excuse me. But
well, technically 2, because Baleful Banker can also act as a bouncer.
Sure.
With an empty deck, or even with just a few cards left in your deck.
Yeah,
you can
exactly.
Baleful Banker, and you'll draw it.
Yeah, and Bloodyface also has Crystal Smith Kangor to heal back up to full, so things are looking pretty good. Ooh, he's willing to tank a card. Whoa. Yeah, I mean, he only had 3 mana crystals left anyways, so if he Noviced or Blood Mage Thanos, he actually increases his chance of burning a relevant card because there's less cards in the pool. I guess it doesn't really matter too much. He just needs to avoid burning the Youthful Brewmaster or Zola.
But even then, like I said,
Still has
a way to do it with Baleful Banker in an empty deck. He could have thrown out Crystal Smith Kangor, but I think he realizes that he's gonna take some damage.
Yeah.
So the Crystal Smith Kangor could be
What now?
pretty valuable, maybe even more valuable than the chance of burning a key combo piece. And he knows he's playing Uther next turn almost no matter what. So he's not going to burn another card. He has a play lined up.
If you're killing, what do you think about Zola and then cubing your cube? So that way you unleash the 5/5s, and then you also have that layer. Okay. Well, it doesn't end up cubing the cube, but by cubing the cube, you end up creating a scenario where it's very difficult for them to to deal with the board because there's just so many layers of mid-range threats.
Yeah.
Bloodyface loses Shrivala, which definitely is painful, but not game-defining by any means.
Yes, that does not really use the Holy Wrath Shrivala combination because it's almost impossible for them.
Odd Warrior.
Yeah. Now there is a chance that you could. No, you can't. Bloodyface only has one Baleful Banker, so he's given up some of the consistency of the Holy Wrath combo.
Yeah, there's a lot of debate on how to actually build out this Holy Wrath Paladin list. I mean, we first saw this in China, which I believe Lion King was the one who won the Gold Series. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're correct.
And people were like, wow, this actually looks like a really good hybrid of, having a Holy Wrath kill plus having the Death Knight to fall back on. And I think people are making like 1 or 2 additions or removals, but they don't want to mess too much with the winning formula. But I imagine that if this deck continues to see play throughout the rest of the metagame until the end of the expansion, we're going to see even more refinement to this deck list, which makes it scary.
Yep.
Speaking of scary, this board is very fearsome. But Bloodyface has Blood Mage Thanos, Consecration, and then Pyromancer Quality. And that is 10 mana and clearing everything except the 2, whatever the
No, he
health
can
cube.
kill the cube with the weapon.
Oh yeah, you're right. Consecration. There you go.
So it ends up working out perfectly.
Yep. Everything is good.
And he gets to dump cards from his hand.
Yes.
That's an ideal situation. Yeah.
Card. I mean, Killen did a really good job setting up these layers, but expertly diffused by Bloodyface. And now Killen has to go back to the drawing board. And it is not pretty. I think he might want his Elise pack now. I think that's almost the kind of gameplay that you're on.
Yes, please.
Because, like you said, there are ways that you can mess with your opponent, but they're not that many. And right now, Bloodyface, Prismatic Lens draws a guaranteed minion from his deck. And timeout.
Azeroth will be purified.
Let's stash that away.
Oh, this is cute.
Yeah. Yeah, by picking up the Baleful Banker, it gives him more turns before he's worrying about fatigue.
Yes.
The function of the Baleful Banker is to essentially give you another chance to roll it anyway. So I like that. I like that. It's a nice little way to just give yourself extra percentage points.
Yeah, if you're going to bounce something back with Youthful Brewmaster anyway, given that you need multiple turns to do so, then like you said, having 1 turn extra to be able to get that job done, potentially more, because that fatigue stacks the further along you go in there, then it's just the correct line.
Light the fuses!
Wonder how deep Killen wants to go here. He can magnetize Celiax for max damage, and then Face's Manipulator chooses to remove a little bit as well. This is the most power on board, and I respect it.
Death was
All right.
Unique Horseman. 1 more to go.
And Bloodyface also has the luxury of the timeouts. I think he's only used 1 equality as well.
Yeah.
Let's stash
And again, Baleful Banker, this one is more of a nod to hand space, I think.
I hope you like my invention.
Yeah, just getting the resources out.
Yeah.
For Brewmaster is perfectly fine.
At the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. He's going to go back up to 30 as timeout in his hand. Just needs to roll 1 more Horseman effectively.
Well, he needs to draw the Horseman so that way he can actually play. Because if it's literally the 30th card, that's still 3 turns away. So getting deeper into the deck makes sense here.
But he draws it anyway, so that means he has a 50% chance each turn to basically guarantee lethal, because during that turn he can also play timeout, which lines him up for the next turn to be able to play it.
Okay. Is there a mech that can do anything here from Killen? No.
No.
No, it can't.
Weaponized Pinata.
I mean,
Oh, God.
that's how deep we have to stretch.
I don't even want to think about it anymore.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm done.
Yeah, the amount of mental gymnastics that casters have to come up with to see if Odd Warrior can pull out a win against these inevitable OTK decks is just really hard. And to be fair, this is the punishment and the risk that you incur when you bring Odd Paladin to a tournament. It is the Quest Rogue of control decks. It has extremely polarized matchups. It crushes aggro and gets absolutely dominated by combo decks. That's just what it does.
Yep.
So, you know, there's a handful of people out there that aren't fans of Odd Warrior, and they are loving this. They're like, yes.
Get him out of here.
Like, look, the truth is, when you play Odd Warrior for a while, you kind of forget what it's like to play to win, because all you do is play to not lose.
But what's weird is that those players that hate Odd Warrior are probably also fans of Killinallday because of how much he plays Quest Rogue, which beats Odd Warrior. So they're at conflict with themselves right now. They don't know how to feel.
I think that's only one guy that feels that way.
Beat up Odd Warrior, but don't beat up Killinallday. He plays Quest Rogue, which beats up on the Odd Warriors.
I think that's only one guy right now, TJ, on this planet.
Well, it's not me, because I like both things. I like Killinallday and I like Odd Warrior.
All right. I'll take your word for it.
So I'm hating this match because it's bad for both.
I just want drama in close games. I'm kind of impartial to it. Ooh, I wonder if there's a way for Killinallday to cornered Sentry and fill up the board. It doesn't work that way.
Nah,
though.
he could just trade in his 1/1s.
Well, you let the 1/1s survive, but I don't think it works that way. Like
How?
So let's say corner Sentry is the only main you have on your side of the field.
Yes.
You like play it and you shield slam your corner Sentry.
Oh, but yeah, he would have to clear off his own board first, so he'd have to
Like brawl it or like reckless flurry.
he could reckless flurry and then play it, but then he doesn't have a shield slam. He doesn't have armor.
It's fine though, because if you the problem is that there's still 4 slots available on the board once you cornered Sentry. So you need a second corner Sentry. I like that Wind Fury pickup.
And he has a Wild Pyromancer left, so he could just clear off his own board and set it up. So.
True, but you pressure before that.
Sure, yeah.
Because he doesn't know you have the corner Sentry. And look, I mean, it's called corner Sentry for a reason. It is a very corner case scenario that ever works out in any universe ever.
Yep.
I mean, Bloodyface has to just not get one of his 2 horsemen. He got it last turn. Yikes.
I told you, Dan, it can happen a million times in a row.
I'm telling you that you're right.
But the problem is he has to kill each horseman every turn also, or it increases the chance that he rolls a different unique horseman, because you can't get the same one if one is on the board already.
Well, he's got the missile launcher, so he could Eternium Rover, missile launcher, magnetize it, and then hit it with the
Super Collider.
Super Collider. Seems reasonable to me. I mean, you don't really have many better plays, to be honest. Yeah, the magnetic ability would keep it safe from any weapon swing. And the last couple cards here from Bloodyface, a second timeout.
I'm almost out of cards. Death was merely a setback.
Holy Wrath?
No, he used Holy Wrath on, I think it's like Potion of Heroism. No, he might have used that as well.
It could be Potion of Heroism.
It could be a second Crystology. I don't remember him playing that either.
Yeah.
But regardless, Bloodyface once again does not get the Horseman. This is starting to become a little stressful here.
Uh-oh.
But he still has timeout.
He still has timeout, but he wants to save that timeout for the turn where he rolls the correct horseman, because then it's a guaranteed.
Both the qualities been used, so if Killin goes for this Faceless for maximum pressure, that's entirely reasonable, but it doesn't protect his 3/4, so if he plays Direhorn Hatchling, it stops the Dynamatic from getting sniped.
Which is more recurring damage, I suppose, if you want to look at it that way.
I'm out of
That is a Potion of Heroism. All right.
Again.
The time has
And Killin knows.
Yep.
He needs to pack right here, right now.
Well, for
Swamp King Dread.
Yeah, 7 mana. He'd have enough. Can he do it? Can he pull it out? Nope.
thickest of patches. And Killinallday is going to get swept. And this was something that we thought was going to happen. We kind of knew it was going to happen, but you know what? Good on Killinallday to, again, respect the time of the viewers. Let's just cut to the chase. Can Odd Warrior get the win? Most likely not. This is a completely viable strategy in Conquest, but something that we haven't seen in quite some time to the level of effectiveness, at least for combo decks.
Yeah.
I feel like we haven't really seen viable combo kill control Conquest lineups in years, too.
Yeah.
The last time I remember seeing something like this was maybe like Frozen's Last Call Invitational in 2016. He lost very convincingly.
Yeah.
But he tried to beat Control Warrior like 4 times or 3 times in a row.
I also don't think there's ever been a metagame where there's been this many viable combo decks, which, kind of pushes that strategy into viability.